All right, Sports Talk Nation. Welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 team-by-team previews. Today we're going to talk about my beloved Philadelphia Eagles. So I've been trying to keep these podcasts to 2 to 3 minutes for many of you who have the attention span of a gnat and don't want to listen to anything longer than that. But with my Eagles, I guarantee you it's going to run longer than that because I have a lot to say, and I probably know more about them than any team out there. So overall, Eagles perspective, I would love to tell you that I think they're going to go 10-6. I'd love to even tell you they're going to go 9-7, which I guess is a possibility. End of the day, I think they're a 7-9 or 8-8 team. I think there's so many questions about this team, starting with the coach. Doug Pederson is the coach. Anybody who tells you they know what Doug Pederson's going to be is either a liar or an idiot. No one knows what Doug Pederson's going to be because he's never been a head coach before. Even as an offensive coordinator, he didn't call the plays. So no one really knows what he's going to do. I will tell you that I think simply by his presence and the subtraction of the genius, Chip Kelly, who tried to change the way they do things in the NFL, I think running a more normal offense is going to improve the offensive production and the defensive production because there's going to be more balance to time of possession. Everyone's going to be more well-rested. Everyone will do better. Offensively, I think the best thing the Eagles have going for them is their offensive line. I know that's saying something because last year they weren't great, but I have a lot of faith in Lane Johnson. I think Jason Peters plays much better, even though he's on the downside of a Hall of Fame career. I think he'll play much better in a traditional offense, and I have faith in Jason Kelsey. The guards, they did sign Steph Wisniewski, who I think will be better. They drafted some guys to compete. I think the offensive line will be the strength of the team, which is going to be necessary because they have fragile Sam Bradford back there. We like to call him Sammy Sleeves because he has real thin arms and wears long, loose sleeves. Even at quarterback, tons of questions. I mean, Sam Bradford's the guy. They gave him a lot of money. He's going to get all the reps. But they signed Chase Daniel to help teach him the offense for a lot of money as a backup. And then we went and traded the world for Carson Wentz. Now, the theory is Wentz sits all year, Bradford plays, Daniel's the backup. But I think what happens is Bradford plays as long as the Eagles are in playoff contention, which may be most of the season in a bad division. The minute they fall out of contention, Bradford gets benched, Wentz moves in. I think if Bradford gets hurt during a game, Chase Daniel becomes the guy, and Carson Wentz comes in the next week if there's a continuation. Running back perspective, another position totally up in shambles. Ryan Matthews is the guy. Ryan Matthews is always hurt. You can't rely on more than 12 games from him, and that's saying a lot. They signed a lot of rookies. They have Wendell Smallwood. They have Kenyon Barner from last year. They have Darren Sproles, who I guess is the best pass catcher of the group. But if any of those names excite you, you're a better man than I am. I worry about the running back position. I hope Smallwood can step in because I do not expect Matthews to stay healthy. Wide receivers, I'm more high on than most people. I think Jordan Matthews can be an 1,100-yard receiver. He's big, he's faster than people think, and he's great in the slot. Nelson Aguilar in his second year needs to avoid injury and be what everybody expected him to be. 1 year as a wide receiver, only catching 20 balls, doesn't negate everything you did as a college player to get in the top 20 draft picks, top 25 draft picks. He has a chance to be really good. Give the kid a chance. They signed Chris Givens and Ruben Randall. Ruben Randall is still a kid. He was overshadowed quite a bit by ODB and before that by Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz. I think he has a chance to be really good. He was a great signing. Chris Givens is a long-distance speed guy. I think he has a chance to help them as well. Zach Ertz at tight end. I know people say this every year. Brent Selleck always winds up splitting time with him. This is the year Zach Ertz breaks out. I'm saying it again. I think this is the year that Zach Ertz breaks out. They signed a ton of defensive players, and I think the defense is what's going to help carry this team. Defensive line, they had to sign Fletcher Cox. They signed him to a big deal. Vinny Curry got a huge deal. We moved to a 4-3 where Vinny Curry is going to be much more effective. I think that Benny Logan at nose tackle could be an all-pro. Well, he's not playing nose tackle now. They're in the 4-3. But I think he can be an all-pro. That's how good I think he is. Revamped the entire defensive secondary. We have Malcolm Jenkins, and we have our safeties are so drastically improved. I think that is where you're going to see the most vast improvement. There's concerns at the second corner. Nolan Cromwell is probably the best of the bunch. Eric Rowe had an okay rookie season last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play in the slot. Leotis McKelvin, I think, can still play. So I think we have depth, if not a super huge standout in the backfield. Linebacker is a position that worries me. I like Jordan Hicks. Everybody likes Jordan Hicks. He played great last year, was a total ball hawk. But even going back to college, he has always been hurt, and that's of major concern to me. You can't rely on the guy. Michael Kendricks has all the talent in the world. I would do anything to have his talent. Unfortunately, he only plays with that talent half the time, so the jury's out on him. A guy like Connor Barwin, I love as a player, but now they're asking him to shuttle back to linebacker after being basically a rush end / linebacker last year. And I think it's tough on him. I think he's a tweener. I think he will find a way to do the job. I think he can even drop back in coverage. But linebacker is probably the biggest defensive question. Jim Schwartz, as the defensive coordinator, will turn that team into a top 10 defense this year. All that said and done, I think the offensive deficiencies, even with some upside, and the defensive proficiency leads to a 7-9 or 8-8 team in a placeholder year as we get ready for the Carson Wentz era to begin. And I hope it begins sooner rather than later. Not that I wish injury on Bradford, but I hope we fall out of playoff contention in about week 10 and I get 5 to 6 weeks of seeing what Wentz can do. And with your 2016 team-by-team preview of my beloved Philadelphia Eagles, I'm the host, the G-Man, and I am out.